And then we have this famous Beowulf. He's in a lot of stories from this period. And Beowulf is a fairy tale, both from the Saxon and the Nordic mythology. Beowulf is also mentioned in Ynglingetten, and, well, I don't think I need this one. You know, for 12 years in Denmark they were fearing this giant grendel, and in the biblical version he's named Cain, but the Vikings, they were so afraid of this grendel. So for 12 years they couldn't have a party at all. Oh God, there was Herod was his name, and he was protected by the Asa gods. So with parties, he was the only one that survived, because Grendel, he got in and he smashed head around, and he wanted to take the head off all the people. And Herod, he needed help. Some stories says that Beowulf was in a guilt to Herod, but I can't find that story. So Beowulf went to Herod in Denmark just to make a name out of himself. He wanted to be remembered in the stories. He wanted to be famous. He wanted to be this giant warrior. And his name Beowulf is also meaning bear. So that's why his name is Beowulf. So we traveled there with his men, and he said we have to get this grendel. We tried to trick him. So they started a party, and in the evening Beowulf was lying, just pretending to be asleep like a fox, and Grendel got in, and he took one of Beowulf's men and smashed his head. And all of Beowulf's warriors attacked Grendel, but Grendel, he didn't get any wounds by any sword. No metal hurt him. So Beowulf, he took his hands and he rushed out his arm, and it just flew away his arm. Grendel ran away, and they looked at his arm, and it was made out of iron and fish skin. So they took up his arm and hanged it on a wall. And Beowulf, he wanted the head. So he went away and tried to seek out where Grendel has got away. And Herod, he was so happy with this. Grendel was dead, and they could start a party again in his big, long house on 50 meters. But Grendel had a mom, and she was more angry, nasty, and deceitful than Grendel. And they think that Grendel was this evil just because his mother was so horrible to him. But she got mad, really mad, when she got her son in the forest, and he was all hurt and didn't have an arm, and he was dead. So she took him home, and then she attacked Herod. And Herod had to ask Beowulf for help once again when Beowulf got back. So Beowulf started to seek out his mother. The name is not mentioned in any story except mother. And he traveled to a lake, and the footstep stops. And he was thinking, oh my, I have to swim. And he started to swim down in the lake, and there were poisonous snakes all around him, and he got away from the snakes. And then when he got up in the cave, he saw Grendel's mom. And Grendel's mom, she was angry, she was really angry, and he tried to attack Grendel's mom with his sword, but the sword didn't hurt her at all. And he looked around and suddenly found a sword from a giant, and took the sword and punched it through the mother. The sword got lost. It was just the handle left, and he took Grendel's mother's head and the the head of Grendel with him up, and his men had to go and meet him up because the head was too heavy to handle his own. And he took it back to Hero, and he was so amazed and lovely. The thing about this story is Beowulf got home later, and later on it's the war at the ice that we told in another story from Kinnekulle and Skara. But they have found in Denmark graves without, the people are without heads. The head are loose from the body. And they have found this big house, 50 meters, in around that area. And the same time period, 500 years, the year 500, when Beowulf and Hero was alive. So maybe it's not just a fairy tale. Fan vad